Every aspect of life requires water for normal functioning. Water is fundamental to animal existence, without which there would be no life on Earth. But the use and management of water by man seems poor. In a relentless drive for development, man has tampered with the ecosystem, polluted the atmosphere, cleared water sources, and overexploited the land. Government of Uganda, with the assistance from the African Development Bank, is implementing the Water Supply and Sanitation Program to improve access to sustainable water supply, better hygiene practice and awareness. So, in the additional investment for water and sanitation in drought and flood-prone areas of north and northeastern Uganda, Government of Uganda has adopted the central promise of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. For north and northeastern Uganda, there is an intervention on sanitation covering flood and drought-prone areas in the low-lying districts of Soroti, Palisa, Kumi, Budaka, Bukedea, Butaleja. Distribution and construction of rainwater harvesting tanks in the water-stressed district of Bududa, construction of valley tanks in Katakwi, Apache and Otuke districts. The gravitation flow scheme to extend water to the water-stressed Nabwea Hill and other parts of Bududa district. And there is a component of building resilience to climate change for communities living within Mount Elgon region in the districts of Buku and Namisindwa. That is policy and program that gives a solution to community needs and different components.
This project was introduced as part of a bigger component, of a bigger project to climate-proof the investments, implemented under what we call the Water Supply and Sanitation Program 1, funded by the African Development Bank.
Uganda has a policy for water protection. There must be sustainable, safe water distribution in Uganda. This should help Uganda to remain a bonanza world of water. But climate change has come up as a result of poor land management. So, Ministry of Water and Environment is building resilience to climate change in flood-prone areas of Mount Elgon to address water shortage through water for consumption in this area.
Water, we managed to get water flowing through the treatment plant from the intake in the forest into the treatment plant, which has been well laid out, and transmission to the different reservoirs and connections to the people, including the problematic of Nabwea Hill. Nabwea Hill is this hill which is in the middle of Bududa Town Council, where water would not reach by gravity. So we managed to extend electricity and to do a pumping station along at a certain level of the hill, and people are getting water.
Residents can access reliable, safe water at the tap stands around the homes, reducing walking distance to water points.
Ezi kahutambise no ibututa. Utamu severenanga kamezi kali kama chafu. Kunywa kamezi kama vi. Kuna kumutihinyi. Kuzitisa atatire. Kuno wamenzire kumutihinyi paka saa msamvu nuwe ndota.
Yes, I thank His Excellency, the President of Uganda, for giving us a water project. Water project has been initiated. It is going on. It has been done. Where I am in the village, the tanks which are in my village, Bulwande, the main tank which are supplying all the town, even the town council, down to the town council here, are getting water.
No, the target population to be connected was supposed to be 2,000 households. But as we talk now, around 1,622 people are connected, and a large number of the 1,622 are getting water.
So when you get water reaching the tap, reaching the house, reaching the kitchen, you have achieved your objective. As we talk now, water is reaching Nabwea.
The gravity flow scheme has also reached big institutions like schools and health facilities.
We've been having challenges to do with the water supply in the hospital for several years. At first we had a scheme that used to supply us. Before we used to have water that is just pumped.
Tuli musanyu lya maanyi tusanyuka kubaga gavumenti yatujjukira netuwa amazzi n'olwekyo tulina obwesige mu gavumenti yaffe eriko era twetaagira ddala n'okugenda tweyongera ate okugenda okusiima pulezidenti waffe wa Uganda yatuwa amazzi yatununula mu kibi.
Distant homes from the gravity water supply benefit from the rainwater harvesting tanks.
When they open here, they found that cement blocks. So the tanks, the 10 cubic meter, 8 cubic meter, and if there were fewer members, so the selection process was much local. And the other difference between the plastic and the ferrocement, like in Bududa, we did the 150 tanks plastic only, because the hilly terrain would require, it would be cumbersome to carry the building materials up those slopes.
Other benefiting areas are Katakwi district, where 3 valley tanks have been constructed at Oriau, Ongongoja and Osudan.
We are already harvesting water for livestock. We have been able to complete the drilling of boreholes for the domestic water use, for the communities around the facilities, and also the people who look after the livestock. When they come, they bring their livestock to water at the watering points. They can also take back a jerrycan of safe and clean water for home use.
So this is the dam of Osudani, Katakwi Osudani. We have so far done inlet, outlet, chain link, tanker stand, toilet, and domestic dam is so far done. Now even these cutter troughs.
These households in these districts have also benefited from the rainwater harvesting technologies. Some received polytanks, while others ferro-cement tanks.
So, as the tank is near, it will be helping you also on one side. From here up to there, it's not a long distance. You go and fish, you come and wash your plates, go and fish, you do other work, you cook, while doing other things also.
Irko bera bora ne mame amina so alusta kwa punina anado muna kipi. Konyo bodo kaka pa nataka na nisije ikwane do de tepe kise pola patane kite ngadado muninyo akipi. Ne ganga itose.
And in Otuke district, 3 other valley tanks of 10,000 cubic litre capacities have been constructed in the sub-counties.
We entered we identified these projects. There was high demand for water for production, livestock, watering, and both domestic water needs were also noted during our feasibility studies. So we came in to fill in that gap.
The residents in Apache district are eager to use the water.
We use for animals, drinking, bathing, and so many things. Even for agriculture, we also use it for irrigation, small one.
In these areas, government has supplied 250 rainwater harvesting tanks for households.
When they open here, they found that cement blocks. So our life is very okay, very easy now. Because even if she comes back, the water is readily available. She can just pick 10 liters. She doesn't have to go now.
The water intervention has reduced the distance covered to fetch water. Under the sanitation policy, Ministry of Water and Environment is building resilience in areas that commonly experience flooding. Close to 120 sanitation facilities were constructed.
We were tasked to come up with designs of toilet facilities with the biggest criteria being they should be resilient to effects of flooding.
The ministry has also trained schools to form sanitation clubs.
The head boy or the head girl, then the health prefects, and special needs. Then the teacher in charge of sanitation. Okay, after the training, we are to make the action plan.
I organize pupils during the health parade. We talk about the health of the pupils and how to maintain sanitation in our school.
Under this component also, local masons have been trained, taking into account the gender perspective.
I've learned many things. The ways of starting how to start the building the halls.
I'm most happy that I've learned a lot of works in this company.
The purpose is to ensure maintenance of the sanitation facilities when the contractors have left. The overall purpose of the sanitation program is to ensure school and community health. The world today represents a new climate condition. A change in climate is caused by biomass destruction, encroachment on water catchment areas, poor land management practices that expose the soil to erosion and consequently crop failure. Ministry of Water and Environment under the climate proofing investment is implementing tree planting, riverbank restoration and good farm practices in Namisindwa, Bukwo and Bududa districts.
The major target of this output was to protect the catchment areas for these rivers, both within the national park and outside the national park.
This trees, I know in future I will earn when I harvest. That is one. Two, it's also protecting soil erosion. You know our area is slopey.
Under the restoration of riverbanks intervention, communities have received bamboo shoots and other tree species to plant.
The taproots are very strong enough to hold the soils. It cannot move away. Likewise, also this elephant grass, it acts also as breaks to our soil.
Under the same component, the ministry distributed energy-saving cooking stoves to 11 schools.
Previously, the firewood consumption was very high, and even the smoke was too much, and the heat in the kitchen.
Me, I love to cook on the other ones because these ones, they take a lot of fuel and also too much smoke. And that one, it takes a small fuel and the smoke is not too much.
So, the story of water is a story of life. Man must adapt to the world he or she lives. Man's activity is responsible for the erratic climate, although government interventions will restore the hope to address climate change.